Sorry, guys, that I'm a little bit late. I was struggling with my connectivity issues. The camera wasn't working, but now I've got it to work. So, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. We'll be chatting about the SAA versus India A. It's day three of the second unofficial test, and South Africa never batted as well as we would have hoped. Good starts once again, and then losing wickets. So, good bowling performance from India, and they are fighting for every single moment in this test and really taking the fight to South Africa. South Africa currently lead by 137 runs. This is after they bowled India out for 276 and then started batting. And South Africa are currently on 116 for 5. And with regards to top performers, Sarel Eve had 41, Peter Malan, the captain, 31. Rainer van Tone got a good start again with 33, but in the end lost his wicket. Tony De Zorzi is currently on 9 not out, and with George Linder, his teammate George Linder, hoping that they can save the series from South Africa's point of view, maybe put on quick runs and then try to pull India out. It's looking like it's going to end up being a draw once again. So it's just one of those things with regards to this particular series. We always knew that there's going to be a draw on the cards, most likely. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Click the subscribe button, click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. The link is in the description. Every single issue, 100% free. Smash the like button, comment, and share, and subscribe. Do all of those things too. Let's do this. Good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show and your review of South Africa versus India A. And we're on day three of the second unofficial test match. I gave a quick summary of South Africa's batting performances, not necessarily something that you can run home with, but you have to give some props to the South African bowlers for bowling India A out and for 276. Bjorn Hendricks not for 49, not a very good return from him, but Brenton Steerman 4 for 48. Marco Janssen 3 for 44, and he must still come out to bat. So we looking forward to the last bit of this particular batting innings from South Africa. It's not the best of performances. Two ducks. It's not good to see that. Siniteme Sheila and Zubair Hamza both getting ducks. Very bad from the two of them, unfortunately. But from an India A perspective, Ishan Porel doing impressing once again. What is it about him, Aditya, that has impressed you the most? Because I mean, this guy has been quite consistent in this particular match.
Yeah, Ishan Purel is a young Indian bowler. Almost certain to make his India debut at some point. He was part of the under-19 team led by Prithvi Shaw that won the World Cup in 2018, and he's been solid ever since. He's played about 25 odd first-class games, the Ranji Trophy, and he's just getting better all the time. So he's a skillful bowler, very good. Probably not express pace. Probably won't hit the 150s like Saini can, but very skillful. Those wrists have magic in them.
Yeah, something very magical that I've seen from him. Yes, this game is pretty much in the balance currently. It's probably going to end up being a draw, though I feel, and then in the end, fighting out for the last game. But yeah, in the balance, I think it's made it exciting. The two batters, I think there's something in it for both the bat and ball. Like I said earlier on in at the beginning days, and it's proving to do exactly that. It's a even match. The fact that South Africa capitulated so quickly means that at least a top order. That means that there must be something in it for our South African seamers in return. But we never know with Bloemfontein. It's all got to do with weather. It's all got to do with the pitch. We don't know how it's going to do tomorrow. If South Africa's what South Africa's going to do from a batting perspective towards the end there. I would, if I was the coach, I would tell them go out there and just go and get as many runs as you possibly can. Play an attacking brand of cricket and just go out there and put as many runs on the board as possible as quickly as possible. Um, it hasn't been so far. It hasn't really been this match hasn't really been something that South Africa can be proud of from a batting perspective. I mean, they'll be very, very disappointed that they've gotten so many starts and then losing so many wickets um, so quickly, and some of the wickets really throwing the wickets away. I mean, only 115 this whole entire match so far, and that is from Marco Jansen, who got that 70, I think it was. So it's something that I really need to look at. I think a lot of these players also are bringing their, besides Peter Malan now, I feel that some of these players are maybe bringing their form that they had in domestic cricket over and carrying it over now into this particular game, particularly looking at Zubair Hamza, Sinitempe Kloshile, has been okay this season. But some of those guys, we really need them to step up, and particularly the senior batters. I always want them to stand up and prove themselves, because if you don't perform well in this particular match, as well as Bjorn Hendricks, he's a guy that I'm fond of. We get along quite well. I always have good conversations with him, but I'm disappointed with. I have to say, I'm disappointed with his performance. This is me talking now as just as a friend of his, or as a colleague of his, or someone that knows him well. I I feel that he needs to take his opportunities now and play and get results, because if he continues this, he's a lot of people would say he's probably out of the running for a test selection completely. I don't think a lot of people maybe putting him in their teams. The same with regards to white ball cricket as well. I think that a lot of guys will be looking at him and saying, where are we going and what direction are we going with him? Because there's always one bad performance in him. And he might start off well or end off well, or have a middle area that is really good, and then he just falls along the wayside and he just doesn't perform, and he hasn't really performed in this particular test. So they really need to think hard and well what they're going to do with him and how they can get him out of this, because I feel that he's experienced enough to to move himself, to get himself on form. It can't just be just because he's a left-hander. That's why we're picking him, because Marco Jansen is bowling at currently and bowling really well as a left-arm seamer. So it's something that they need to look at, really look at hard, 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 because it's something that we really need to consider. Because a guy like Marco Jansen needs to get more opportunities for the future. I'm not saying fast track him into the test arena yet, but I think they need to give him a lot more opportunities when SAA teams come around domestically. Let him put on performances, because he is the future when it comes to as being one of the all-rounders in the teams. When we look at sorry, there's a comment here from Lorenzo Bide. He's asking me a question. He says, Hardy, is it possible to add players to the squad in the last match? If so, I'll get all our fringe test batters in there, KP, Verena, Kurikat. I think it should be possible, because they were in biosecure bubbles for the Netherlands series, some of those guys. So they should be able to, like Zubair Ramza did, go over and go and play immediately. It would be a smart move from my part. If I was Boucher, that's what I would do. I'll send those guys in. KP is not really. I don't think KP is a fringe player in this team. I think he's one of the guys um, that will probably take that number 3 position. So I think this guy will come out there and he needs some opportunities. I think he needs to go out and play some SAA cricket, so that he can get some form, because he hasn't really played much cricket, um, as much as cricket as we'd hoped he would have played.
Yeah, I was going to ask if the I heard the domestic circuit is not being played in biosecure environments, but the SAA India A team is India A series is being played in biosecure environment, right?
Not from what I've heard, because we sent out the release today, talking about the Division 2 being cancelled, Division 2 games being cancelled.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
in that press release, they spoke a lot about BS, BSE. So which is puzzling if that's the case. If you've heard that, what I do know is that they are relatively secure. So I know that we are not allowed to have contact with any of the players, especially from interviews perspective. So let me just read what they said in the release, and this will tell us, obviously, give us insight into whether there are BSE um, structures in place. Cancel that. Um, the competition is not being held in a. Oh, it says here the competition is not being held in a biosecure environment in the last couple of days, and some positive COVID-19 test results that have been emerging following team pre-arriving test sessions. So obviously, those guys are going home, going back into society, coming back into a into this environment. So you're right, Aditya. It hasn't been really been played in BSE because I think people are allowed to go home, and that may be a problem. They need to, at least that's a good sign from an India tours perspective. Why I say that is because it's not a BSE, so India don't really have to worry
Yeah.
about those things. Um,
Whereas the India A versus SAA series is being played in a BSC.
yes, yes, definitely. So that then from that perspective, I think they need to do the domestic games as well like that. Ultimately, that's what I would hope for. Um, so yeah, there was something that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me just while I'm busy, I teach you take over quickly and just say that so I can just put up that on the screen.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I want to know from a South African perspective, what did you think from what you've seen and stuff like that? What do you think went wrong from a South African point of view with a bat so far? Why can't they convert?
It's funny because I think both teams have had disappointing batting performances. If you look at the pattern right from South Africa's first innings, one guy scored 70 odd. In India also, Sarfaraz Khan scored 70 odd and remained unbeaten. And now South Africa 116 for 5. So I think it's uh, the winner of this game, and I do think that there will be a result. Will be will be the team that bats just a tiny bit better. And yeah, it's been quite interesting. It's been a bowlers test match for for a change in Bloemfontein. Um, but I suppose
Yeah,
the lesson for both teams is to find ways to score big on difficult wickets, and persevere, because we can. There are different types of batting performances, right? Like on tough wickets, there are times when you face 10 balls, you get a beauty of a delivery, and you're out. But here, the players that have been getting out have faced 60, 70, 80 odd deliveries, scored 30, 40 runs, and then they've been getting out. So I think shot selection is an important facet of the batting in both teams that should worry us, and hopefully they'll learn from this, and we'll see how it goes in the next game.
mhm.
But I do think
And
tomorrow
if
is going
this
to make for a very interesting day.
And if this is South Africa's second best team, like Smith has always spoken about, Smith always says that, oh no, he wants the SA team to be the second best team that is available. Um, uh, and wait, I just want to reply to someone quickly here. Yeah, so it's always the second best team. That leaves us with some worry, because it's not necessarily a. I don't think any of these guys are really pushing for a spot here based on their performances. If you take the first, maybe in the first test, you could say there were guys, obviously Tony Dezorzi, and you have the likes of Peter Malan, maybe. But in this particular test, when the conditions are difficult and tough, that's when you want to see people perform, not when it's easy to perform. So that is currently the issue that I have with South Africa. So Aditya, I just want you to just read this out for the fans because you sent this to me, so I think it's only fair. It's that quotes from Virat Kohli. If you just want to read it out to the guys so that they can hear what was had to say, if you can see it clearly.
Yeah, the India versus New Zealand test match begins tomorrow. So they had a presser today, and he was asked about the South Africa series in the context of the uh, the new variant was discovered there. So he said it's pretty natural to be concerned. We're not playing in normal times anyway, so there's a lot of planning involved. There's a lot of preparation involved in terms of understanding exactly what's going to go on. There are players who are not part of the group right now who will be entering quarantine to join the team in the bubble to fly in a charter. Those kinds of things you want to seek clarity as soon as possible. We have spoken to all the senior members of the squad. Obviously, Rahul Dravid has initiated a conversation within the group, which is very important to know. At the end of the day, we understand our focus from the test match will not shift regardless, but you want to have clarity and want to be in a situation where you know exactly what is going on. We've been talking to the board, and we're pretty confident that within a day or two, pretty soon we'll have absolute clarity as to what is going on, but we need to be realistic about things as well. We cannot just ignore the things that potentially could put you in a confusing place, and no one wants to be there. I'm sure everyone is working hard towards finding clarity and giving us the situation as it unfolds as soon as possible. We all are hopeful that that will happen soon, and as I said, our prime focus right now is the second test, and the other things are simultaneously being taken care of.
So looking positive, looking positive, looking positive. I'm happy about that because we need the series. South Africa needs a series.
Yeah.
Our people needs a series. The fans need the series. Everybody needs the series. So I'm
I think
really really hoping.
from all perspectives, it's very important. You know, from the fans need competitive cricket. The Test team needs competitive cricket. The ODI and T20 teams also need competitive cricket. And I think for CSA, from a financial point of view, I think it's 700 million rand on the line here. So they do need the series to go on. And from an Indian perspective, India needs to win in South Africa because they haven't done that before. So I think that'll definitely be a driving factor. But all in all, certainly hope that the series goes ahead.
Yeah, me too. I'm hoping so too. I'm just like I said, I was a bit disappointed that with I'm very disappointed actually with some of the batting that we've seen so far in this particular series. I really thought that we were going to see some better batting in the series. Um, but yeah, alas, that's not happened. Let's check some of the comments that are available. Guys, I just want to let you guys know, but it really helps us, and it will really help us a lot if you guys do some super chats and to for us. You can choose, like, you don't even have to contribute a lot, but every little bit helps us and helps us grow, because then we can start using this some of the money that you guys send us, and even if you become patrons with us, that money we can use to help to set up a lot of things for all of us. So it would be it would be great if you guys can contribute with super chats. But let's get into the live chat. I always want to get your comments out here. India have a good chance to win here. It is frustrating to see Reina Fantona looking so good and then play a poor shot to get out. It is something that used to frustrate me about Markram as well, Werner Erasmus. Yes, that's very true. I think that Fantonda Reina is just having a off season. I think it's just he's going through some struggle right now. Every batter has gone through that. Even the top batters have done that. So, especially in domestic cricket, Reynard should be very happy that he has an opportunity to be able to have 2 seasons in a row where he was really really good. Ultimately, that's the thing. So I know Abba is trying to connect on the show, and I'm gonna try to add him, but currently it's just rainbows over here on the side, so I don't know what's going on there, Sabai. I'm really, really sorry. Um, but yeah, so with regards to Reina Fontunda, he needs to just continue, put his head down. Someone needs to put their arm around him and really just let him refocus and find his way. Why the selected Hamzan drop Jason Smith, who did well last game? That is a question that I need to ask one of the coaches or someone in the team. Um, When the series is concluded, I will ask the question because it was puzzling that they did so. Because I thought it's Jason's time. It was Jason's time now to really show and put his foot forward and say, "Look here, I'm here," And he did well in the last game, so it was a little bit puzzling. Maybe they just wanted to add an extra person into the top, but that is weird. So it's crazy. I don't understand why why that happened. I mean, I always wanted to see him in the mix, but it just is the way it is currently. And we have to accept it and let's move on from it. The game is in the balance, and no need to start panicking. What do you have to say about that, Aditya?
Yeah, the game is in the balance. Hmm. I don't think anyone is panicking, but it's an interesting game, and we'll see how it goes. I think you know, uh, if everything goes to plan, all three results might be possible. Right up to the last hour of the game. So we'll see.
Marco Janssen was a beast with the ball. Hopefully, he can back it up with a bat. Dick saying Björn Hendricks won't play for the Proteas ever again. Lorenzo saying Poral reminds him of big Fern Philander. Do you see a similarity over there, Aditya?
Possibly, I suppose, but not too many similarities because yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting observation. That's an interesting observation.
Mm.
But either way, quality bowler, and that's a great comparison.
Hamza's shot disappointed me the most. It is one of the things that looked to be positive, but was in no position to try and go over the top there. He wasn't. It wasn't the perfect pitch of the ball. He wasn't to the pitch of the ball. Sean Reader, who's Sean Analytics, says 15 SAA wickets lost, just 150 from a number 8. We mentioned that earlier on. Marco, let's go. There's clear favorites over here, as we can see. Khalid, is it possible we added? We mentioned that already. We've mentioned that already. Wema Sakinas, Sean. I don't think Aditya understands that one. A guy like Michael Torres also needs game time. Yes, I would like to see him in the next game. Still time for him to play. Um, Temba Bavuma played a lot of SAA after his test debut, as did Aiden Markram. And I agree with that. I think our players need to, just to get themselves ready. Um, so that will be great
They
to
had
see. I
they had a
mean,
lot of SA cricket going on back then.
a
Now
lot more.
in some of the presses that I've attended, there was talk about SA cricket, but it was just that with it's not financially feasible with biosecurity environments to have the same standard of BSCs for an SAA tour, and a lot of times, like there have been times where like India has played an A tour with another country, and they've paid for the entire tour. That's not always feasible for other teams
Mm,
that are participating in that sort of arrangement. So
mm.
it's tricky at the moment.
Guys, Rassi has been batting at 3. I know Rassi's been batting at 3, and that's also because KP's been in and out as well of the team. And also, South Africa's always been in difficult positions, so Rassi had to come out and was forced to come out. And they'd rather put that pressure on a guy like Rassi than a KP, particularly when they're struggling. But I see down the line that KP should be taking that number 3 position. I don't see him necessarily in that 4 position. I see him more as a number 3 than a 4. I see Rassi more as a number 4, more of a guy that can really take on the opposition bowlers, etc. Um, I'm pretty sure that the series is postponed to a week ahead, and it's going to be a 2-test series. Aditya.
We don't have confirmation of that as yet, but I think at this point the schedule is going to be dictated by logistics, and they're going to want to minimize air travel, and I do think that we'll probably have a hard quality of some sort, although we don't know. But yeah, I think if the schedule changes, that's going to be dictated by logistics more than anything else.
Mhm. Khalid, CSI need to clamp down on the BSE as the BCCI will have to close look at our domestic structure because if a lot of positive cases arise, the BCCI will surely not fulfill their duties to SA. I don't know, necessarily think so because the domestic cricket system hasn't been played in a BSE. So that just clears that up from that perspective. And I think India will trust, there's a good trust between South Africa and India.
And look, in these cases, what often happens is that medical teams are in touch with each other far in advance of the series. So up until the variant was announced, um, South Africa didn't have a very heavy caseload. So the idea of very strict bio bubble arrangement probably wasn't considered in the first place. But now, I mean, I think it depends entirely on what the two medical teams decide. But hopefully, fingers crossed. We'd like to see this tour go ahead as planned.
Yeah. But okay, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe. Um, please get involved with super chats in future shows so that you can get all your comments read up on the screen. That's it's not a lot of money, guys. It's basically like you guys buying me a sweet or a lollipop or a coffee maybe or a juice box. So just go ahead and support us with regards to that as well. Click the subscribe button. Do that, all of those things, and subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly as well, so that you can get everything straight to your inbox whenever that it is released, whenever the issue is released. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys very, very soon tomorrow for our Q&A session. So get your questions in, guys, on Instagram if you want us to answer your questions. Cheers, everybody, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers, Aditya.